So good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you taking the time to join the MassHire drop-in webinars. We've been having these every week since July, and we want to welcome you. So my name is Kim Leonard, and I welcome you on behalf of the MassHire Department of Career Services. And we look forward to giving you job search and other resources and information to help you begin an effective job search. And the information today is at a high level, and it's an overview of what MassHire can do for you and the opportunities that you can explore to get back to work. We want to help you become aware of all of the resources across the state that the MassHire Career Centers have to offer. And this is important information because, as many of you know, the federal benefits ended on September 4th. And we do want to help you get started in your job search. And just by attending this webinar today, you're getting ahead of the curve and you're headed in the right direction. You know, you're taking that control, you're in the driver's seat, just learning what opportunities are out there for you. Because currently there are over 350,000 UI claimants who will be looking for work. And the more that you can learn about the resources and opportunities, the more effective job search you can have. And the last message before we begin is we do understand and have compassion for any UI questions or concerns regarding your unemployment claim. And this is not the focus of this webinar, and we are therefore unable to answer any questions related to your UI claim. And we can put the 800 number to DUA into the chat. So let us begin. So you may have noticed that everyone is muted just because the size can get a little bit big. So it just cuts down on any background noise and distractions and echoing. We will, Elizabeth will be answering questions in the chat throughout the webinar, and we will also answer questions at the end once we end the presentation. As I mentioned, you can type your questions in chat. And also, closed caption has been turned on. So if that is a feature that you need, you can use the closed caption. It should be in the bottom left of your screen. And you can also choose the language that is best for you. So hopefully, if you need that, you can use that function. So today what we're going to cover is how to help you figure out next steps to find employment, how MassHire Career Centers can help you get back to work, and what are the other state services that can help you if you are in need of these services. So I like to begin with sort of 4 focal points. The first is, the fact that the benefits, the federal benefits ended on September 4th. Second is that on MassHire Job Quest, there are over 215,000 job openings, and you have the opportunity to get your foot in the door before the rush of the over 350,000 claimants who will also be all looking for jobs. And then third, we will introduce you to the services that MassHire Career Centers have to offer. Some of you may be aware of the Career Center services at your local Career Center. And we also want to introduce you to the MassHire Job Quest, which is the state's online portal to jobs and job search services. And these 2 pieces are very important to helping you with an effective job search. So, first, looking for a job. So one of the things that we just want you to remember for continuing to collect your UI benefits is that you do want to continue completing your weekly work search requirements. So that is very important for collecting UI benefits, tracking your work search activities. And I like to just get into why there are many other reasons for keeping track of your weekly job search activities and keeping a log of those activities. Because although you can keep them online when you certify each week, that's a convenient way to do it. There is a location when you certify that you can update your work search. You can keep them on the work search logs that you can find on the DUA website, or you can keep them, in a notebook, in an Excel spreadsheet, a Word document. The fact is you just want to keep track of them. And those additional reasons I just want to go over with you is because when you keep track of your job search activities, it helps keep you organized. You know who you contacted and you know who you sent your resume to. And I like to mention that job search, has changed over the years. And one of those pieces where it has changed is that you often will have different resumes to send to different job opportunities, because you have to update and modify your resume based on a particular job ad. So it helps you to remember, okay, I sent this resume to this employer on this date. Second, it can help you to follow up with an employer. If you haven't heard back and you need to follow up, when you sent the resume, and if it is an appropriate time frame to follow up with that employer or the person who you sent that resume to. And third, it helps you take control of your job search, because throughout your job search, you're going to want to begin to do what we call labor market research, because you're going to want to research the job titles, the companies, the industry, who you may be interviewing with. So there's a lot of research that you would want to do, and this will help you as well, being organized with keeping track of your job search. And we will get into a little bit more of that labor market research that will help you get that information you may need to prepare for an interview or to create your resume. So here we're excited. We like to talk about the recent job fair we had in August. It was a week-long job fair. And if you look over here on the right-hand side of the screen, there were over 1,600 employers who attended. There were over 14,000 job seekers who attended, and over 20,000 resumes were submitted. It really was a success. And as I mentioned, it was the largest job fair that Massachusetts has ever hosted. So it really was important, and many of you may have seen the advertisements for MassHire, the MassHire Job Fair, as you watch television. It was very exciting every time I saw them. It was nice to see it advertised. But over here on the left, you can see that some of these have gone by, these job fairs, and some are upcoming. But there are very many job fairs that some are virtual, some are in person, and that you can register for, and right from your MassHire Job Quest, from registering on MassHire Job Quest. So here are just a few examples. Sometimes they're based on industry, a hospitality job fair. This one was a virtual. And then you can go on, when you go on and research them, you can see the type of industries and the types of occupations that either may fit for what you're looking for or not. But there are a lot of job fairs. So we'd like to point that out because it can be a good opportunity to get in front of an employer and get your resume in front of an employer. So definitely bear that in mind as you're looking. And the Career Center staff can help you with this endeavor as well. So as I mentioned, in MassHire Job Quest, now there's over 250,000 job openings in MassHire. And I just like to go over a little bit about those type of job opportunities. But we understand that sometimes beginning a job search can seem overwhelming. And you may ask yourself, where can I begin to look for jobs? Do I want to go back to the same type of job or industry? Or do I want to research other types of jobs and industries? Where do my skills and experience fit? And another big question that you may be pondering is, do I want to work from home? Do I want to telecommute? Now with the environment we're in, that's a very real question, and it can be a very real opportunity for you. And answers to those questions you may have, and many other questions, give you the opportunity to think about what you really want in a job and what is important to you and your family. And this is where Job Quest and working with MassHire career counselors comes in. Because as you can see here, with all of the job opportunities right here in MassHire JobQuest. They're pulled from over 45,000 different websites. So it makes it easier for you to just be able to search in one website. So on that site, there will be direct employer websites, such as, companies as like Microsoft, Amazon, Ford, John Deere, GE, the many hospitals we have in Massachusetts, many banks across Massachusetts, the restaurants. Then there are the state jobs, local and federal job boards, and municipal sites and schools. So the municipal is going to be your local if you wanted to work for your local town or city hall. State jobs, which is what I have, federal jobs, and you can look for the schools as well. So that can be really helpful all in one location. And in addition to those, there are the intermediary firms, such as staffing firms, such as Manpower, Robert Half, Kelly Staffing, ZipRecruiter. I'm sure many of you have heard of these organizations. And there are many other job boards, such as Glassdoor, Indeed, and Career Builder. So this is a great place to have looking for jobs all in one location. And I always like to mention, the more you put into planning your job search, it is definitely a process. And I use the example of planning a vacation or a weekend away. When you plan a vacation, you often plan ahead. You think about where you want to go, your destination, how you're going to plan to get there. Are you flying? Are you driving? Are you taking a train? There's a lot that goes into it. What types of sites do you want to see? Where do you want to stay? So I just point that out as a parallel to job search, because job search really is a process. If you do want to end up getting the job that you can be happy at and that you can utilize your skills and experience. So just bear that in mind, that it is a process. And that's why we want to introduce you to the MassHire Career Centers. So MassHire JobQuest, there's a lot that you can do within this portal. You can search for jobs, and you can search for those jobs by keywords, by job title, by location. You can register on JobQuest, which hopefully you will do, and you can go and search around and see the types of things that you can do on there that will help towards your job search. And you will notice that we are making a lot of enhancements, which we are very excited about, because it's going to help to be a better experience when you do register and tool around in JobQuest. Here you can learn about job fairs and industry events. You can scroll through and you'll see the various ones that are upcoming. Here you would register, and you can look for green jobs. We're going to get into that in a little bit, the different types of specialized jobs, if you will. We'll go into a little bit of that later. You can search on Torque, which I'll explain about shortly. You can find a local MassHire Career Center near you. So here's just an example of the enhanced job search page. So this is showing job results. You can job match based on your skills and experience. You can save those jobs to your dashboard. So there's a lot that you can do in here all in one place. So you can have, again, an effective job search. You can sort jobs. You can search by location or job category. So these are some of the examples of how you can search for jobs and save them within your JobQuest account. And so here are some of the other things that you can do from MassHire JobQuest. You can access, the workshops. You can look for training opportunities. Through labor market research, you may realize, hey, I need a credential. I need a little bit of training to enhance my skills. So those are the type of things you can search for on JobQuest. You can look for Torque and sector-specific jobs, which I mentioned. So if you are interested in green jobs, for instance, or IT, healthcare, jobs for veterans, education, creative sector, state jobs, you can do all that right here by clicking on the tab that is appropriate for you. And here, the first two tabs, if you want to, explore education and training, you can take assessments if you're sort of unsure where you want to begin your job search and your skills and your values, etc. And here you can learn about Torque, which is a tool to help you learn about your transferable skills. So if you're looking to maybe transfer into another occupation or industry. And we will go a little bit more into torque. So if you've ever wondered how your skills and experience and your training transfer into other occupations, Torque is a tool that can help you with that. So here in MassHire Job Quest, you can listen to this very brief video, 1 minute 43 seconds, that can help you get started, and you can go to the Torque website. So what that does is it can help you identify job opportunities based on your skills and experience, how they transfer. So skills is a very important piece of how you think of, building your resume, speaking to your skills on an interview, things of that nature. So sometimes we don't realize a skill we have, we've always used it in one occupation. And you may not realize how those individual skills, when you take them apart, can transfer into other industries. So it's very interesting. I think it's a great tool to at least explore and just see if it can give you ideas of other occupations and industries that you may fit. And they also have real-time job postings on the site. So if you find occupations that your skills transfer into, you can then look at the job postings to see if that is something that could possibly interest you in the future. And you can also create a personalized employment plan and a customized resume right from the site. So there's a lot you can do in there as you begin your job search to just get ideas of what you may want to do and how you want to transfer your skills. So here we'll go over how MassHire Career Centers provide a variety of job search services. And there are many exciting ways that MassHire Career Centers can work with you and help you get back to work. Over the past years, as I mentioned earlier, some of you may have realized, some of you may not have had the opportunity yet, but job search really has changed. There's just different things, for instance, like you would not put objective on a resume. It is more of a summary is what you would do. So some of those things that you may not be aware of, working with the career centers, you have the opportunity to work with experienced career counselors who are on the cutting edge of understanding these changes. And they can help guide you in your job search to help you modify or update or create your resume that you may need to get your foot in the door, to just get the interviews, to get, in front of an employer. And so many of the MassHire services offered include skill analysis, which is very important because that can help you as you're building your resume, as you're preparing for an interview, and teaching you how to speak to those skills. They can help you with resume writing, online application assistance, which, as you may have already noticed, oftentimes when you're looking for a job, all you can do is send your resume online. You don't have the opportunity to drop it off somewhere or mail it to an individual. Everything is done online. So you will want to, if you're unfamiliar with that, work with the MassHire Career Centers because they can help you learn about the applicant tracking systems, which is you need to have your resume in a certain format, have the certain keywords on there, or it won't even get seen by a human. So these are important things that they can help you with because they have the experience. They can help you with interview preparation. Sometimes they can do mock interviews with you. So these are all elements that are very important as you prepare and plan for your job search process. And a very important piece is learning how the skills that are needed by employers. We think about what we can do and what we can give to an employer, but what is the employer really looking for? Do my skills match what they're looking for? You can learn if you have any skill or credential gaps that may be preventing you from getting back into the job market for the type of work that you desire. And so the career centers can help you maybe close some of those gaps that you may have. And then through the many workshops that are offered at the career centers, you'll have the opportunity to learn about many of the aspects of an effective and productive job search to get the job that you want. because it really is more than just going online and just clicking a button and sending a resume. I really can't stress that it is so much more than that. And I always like to share a little tip just to give you an idea how the career centers can help you when you are planning and thinking about your skills, because as you can see, the skills and being able to speak to your skills are very important in an interview and on a resume. But if you take your skills and you write the skill on one side of an index card, on the back side, you write how you use that skill, and then you attach or think about a story of how you use that skill in your previous jobs. It's just a good way to practice and get comfortable speaking about your skills that are on your resume and preparing for the job interview. So those are the types of things that the career centers can help you with. There's very many community resources and partner agencies that they work with in case you have any barriers to employment, and they can refer you. They have those relationships. They can refer you to those resources. So there's very many ways that they can help you, and they can help you with labor market research, which is just researching the labor market. The easy way I like to explain it is just, we all, I think, know about economic research, which is just you're going to buy an expensive item, an iPhone, furniture, a vehicle. You do research on the economic, on the consumer industry. You do research because you're spending a lot of money. You want to get the best for your dollar and the best item for your dollar. So when you think of labor market research, it is just researching the labor market to see how you fit in, how your skills, your experience, and what you bring to the table. So that's what labor market research is all about. And it is very important in getting the job that you want. So now we'd like to go over a little bit about the mature workers, if you will, workers over 55, because if we're realistic and real, there can be age discrimination in searching for a job, and some of you may have experienced that, unfortunately. And so there are agencies along with the career centers that can help you in that endeavor. The Senior Community Service Employment Program, known as CSEP, they can help lower income job seekers who are age 55 and older. They can help you develop skills and self confidence to get the job that you want and to help you at the same time become financially self sufficient. So if you're interested in a program like that, you can go to their website or Google the program. So they can be very helpful. They have experts and counselors who can work with you. Then at our MassHire career centers, um, there are the career centers have workshops for older individuals, and they're workshops that can help you because you may want to position your resume in a little bit of a different manner just to be able to get in and get the interview. They can help you build and refine your online profile, such as LinkedIn, help you develop computer skills if that is something you may need. And they can help you with digital literacy skills if that's something you need. I think we've learned a lot about the digital divide, and there are a lot of folks who need those computer skills. So when I worked in a career center, we did have a workshop for mature workers, and it really was excellent because it gave a lot of good tips that I know I would not have even thought about. And it really can help you position yourself in ways that you just sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So I recommend if you need that type of support to reach out to the career centers and they can help you. So next, we just want to go over some of the resources that MassHire, the state, can help you with if you are in need as you are searching for work. Because, I think we realized over this past year and a half that there are a lot of barriers for folks looking for work, looking for jobs, trying to get back into the job market. So we're just going to go over internet access, housing, dependent care, meaning child and elder care, and health care. There is so much more, but those are the few that we're going to go over today, just to give you an example of how if you need these resources, they are available. So if you need access to internet or affording internet, or you need a device to help you search for a job, there is the federal program, which is the Emergency Broadband Benefit Program, known as EBB, and there is the Mass Internet Connect program, known as MIC. That's a state program. And these programs can be very helpful to individuals because the EBB program, if you are in need of internet or you cannot afford it, there is a $50 subsidy that if you are eligible, you can get that $50 subsidy per month to help you pay for that internet so you can look for a job. You don't have to go to a local library or another place to be able to look for work so that, your device can work. And then if you do not have a device, you're searching for work on a smartphone, which really isn't practical. I know we can do so much on our smartphones, but looking for work, trying to work on your resume, that's not practical. So if you're in need of a device, there is the MIT Chromebook Device Subsidy Program, which if you're eligible, you can get a Chromebook and you would be able to, better search for work. You would have a device that you can look for jobs, you can search, you can work on your resume, you can, do so much more than on a smartphone. So if you're in need and you want to begin researching, you can go to getemergencybroadband.org, or you can go to your local career center, contact them because they were trained extensively on these programs, and they can help you see how you fit into the program and how you can be assisted. So that can really be a benefit if you're in need of that. Then there is if you are having housing issues with housing, we know over the past year and a half, there has been a lot going on with evictions, affording rent and mortgages. So the Department of Housing and Community Development, they have the Eviction Diversion Initiative, and they can help individuals, including deep financial assistance. They can help you with free or low cost legal aid, community mediation. And this may be something that you may need if you are in danger of maybe, losing an apartment or your home, or you have rent in arrears. So they can help you, and you can call 211 or go on their website and search for them, or this is the website here. And they can help you. They have experts, they're professionals who have the knowledge of this information on how to help you navigate. So if that's something you need, they are there for you. And here's just a couple of examples of how they could help you. If you have rent that is due on or after March 13th of last year, they can only cover a period not exceeding a year and a half. And for renters with a low income based subsidy, they could help you cover the portion that you would pay. For utility assistance, they can cover up to 12 months of eligible utility arrears for a maximum of up to $1,500. And for moving related, they could help you with first and last month's rent, security deposit, moving trucks, or furniture and payments for up to $1,000. So if that is something you are in need of, you would want to reach out to them and see how they could help you and point you in the right direction, because searching for a job can be stressful enough in itself. And if you have other things going on, that can make it a little bit even more stressful and difficult to focus on the task of searching for a job. Which brings us to childcare. I think many of us know, watching the news, reading the newspaper over the past year and a half, childcare has been a very big barrier for many parents across the Commonwealth because daycare programs closed abruptly, or their daycare program has not opened up. There are not enough slots for children. So that has been a very big stressor. And now, kids are going back to school, and hopefully that can take a little bit of pressure off. But there are opportunities if you do need help with childcare, and if you need that subsidy. Of course, there are eligibility requirements, but it is always worth checking into, because if you're eligible, this could be something that could help you and your child or children and take stress off of you. And one of our partners we work with, all the career centers work with, is the Department of Transitional Assistance. So they have those relationships already built. When we were in person, there was an individual from DTA who would sit right in the career center once or twice a week, so you would have access to that person. So these are the type of partnerships I'm speaking about that the MassHire has and can point you in the direction of. So again, you can call 211 or, you can search for them to get more information or reach out to your local career center. So family giver resources, because, I always mention that it's, as they call it, the sandwich generation. Oftentimes, individuals are taking care of, have a family, are taking care of young children, and they're also taking care of elders. So the Family Caregiver Support Program is free for those caring for individuals age 60 or older, individuals of any age with Alzheimer's or related dementia, children under the age of 18, or an adult with a disability between the ages of 18 to 59. And, these are resources. These are folks who can help you. They're expert in what they do. They have the knowledge, and there is the phone number here or a website that you can refer to get more information. But if that is something you need, it can be a great resource, again, to help you just take pressure off, because searching for a job under the best circumstances can be stressful, especially the environment we're in. We can be nervous. There can be barriers. So if you do need assistance, it's just best to reach out and get that assistance that you may need, or refer someone who may need these types of services. And lastly, just to go over the Massachusetts Health Connector. So they have, you can get health benefits while you're collecting unemployment, and you may be eligible for a no or low cost monthly Connector Care health insurance plan through the Health Connector. And the good part about that is if you qualify, you can keep the same rate through 2021, even if you return to work. So that could really be a big benefit if you were not aware of that opportunity. And so it is definitely worth checking into the Mass Health Connector. There's the website or the telephone number to help you get connected to health insurance if that is what you need. And I think you already know about the chat because Elizabeth has been answering questions, which is wonderful. And, lastly, to go over, we just would like to, reiterate, it's great. It's a good idea to begin your job search by registering on MassHire JobQuest at the link mass.gov/JobQuest. Or you can find a MassHire Career Center near you. Here's the information, the website, or you can go on mass.gov and put in career centers. You'll be able to find a local career center. And you can schedule a MassHire Career Center seminar. And the great thing about the Career Center seminar, which we call a CCS, it is that we've given you, as I mentioned at the beginning, a high-level overview of the MassHire Career Center system. When you go to a Career Center seminar, they will inform you of the special programs and services that they have to offer. And one example I'd just like to give, I forgot to mention earlier, was each career center, they can have grants. They can have state, local, and federal grant programs. Excuse me. And the process is very individualized, but if you are thinking of transitioning or changing careers at this time, they can help you through training opportunities. But I always like to mention it's best to speak with the Career Center directly, because the different grant programs have different eligibility requirements. So it is a very individualized process, and it would be best for you to speak one-on-one with a counselor, either virtually or career centers do have by appointment, meetings by appointment. So that could be something that you may want to keep in mind if you are thinking of transitioning, or you need to work on some of your skills, you need additional training, or you need a credential. The Career Center can definitely help you. So now I just want to thank you for listening to the information, and we can get into any questions that have not been answered thus far, because I know Elizabeth has been answering the questions, and we can now answer any of your questions. Are there any questions, Elizabeth, that we should go over?
Kim, nothing that I haven't been able to address in the chat. So I think I have one more to answer for Leslie here, but otherwise I think we're actually set for group chat.
That is excellent. I'm so glad you were able to answer the questions. And before we sign off, we just want to thank you for taking the time. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come listen to us and work with us, just to help you learn how you can begin your job search, jumpstart your job search. If you had not already been aware of the Career Center, MassHire Career Center system across the state, that they are there and they are there to help you. And it would be a good recommendation to think about reaching out to them and also registering on MassHire Job Quest. Just tool around a little, get a little comfortable, because to get the job that you want, it is a process, as I mentioned. And, why go it alone when you can have the guidance from trained professionals? So that would be what I would recommend. And I thank you, Elizabeth, for your assistance to help everyone here on the webinar today. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you. I just wanted to address that one. The Plymouth Career Center is definitely still open. They are at Cottage Park, but right now, as I think Elizabeth put in the chat, the career centers are not fully open right now. They're open by appointment only. So you could either reach out, if you're not finding the Plymouth Career Center, you could reach out to the Quincy Career Center because they're connected, Plymouth and Quincy, that's the South Shore region. But they are definitely open. I work with colleagues all the time in the Plymouth Center. So please don't give up on that because they are there and they are willing to help you. So again, reach out to maybe the Quincy Career Center. So yes, if there are no other questions, we can end the webinar. And I highly recommend reaching out to your local career center, take some of the workshops. The workshops can be wonderful to just give you information. Like I always say, I know for myself, sometimes I don't know what I don't know. And then it's like, oh, wow, that was interesting. So I would definitely recommend that. So Elizabeth, I guess with that, I will stop the recording and